Is the banking crisis behind us? It is true that some concerns over instability in the financial system have been reduced, but could this be the calm before a much bigger storm? Economic uncertainty means you have to keep up with what's happening. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll keep you in the know. 3 weeks ago, the nation experienced its second and third largest bank failures in history. U.S. regulators sprang into action. They took extraordinary steps to protect depositors, provide extra liquidity to all banks, and assure us that failures were not signs of a bigger problem. However, just days afterward, Credit Suisse, one of the world's most important banks, fell into such distress that it needed an immediate $54 billion lifeline from the Swiss government to stay afloat. That massive cash injection wasn't enough to restore confidence in the 167-year-old institution. Shortly afterward, Credit Suisse collapsed altogether and was purchased by rival UBS Bank. These bank failures on both sides of the Atlantic triggered anxiety about the stability of the financial system, which reminded us of the financial crisis. The failures also prompted government and central bank intervention on a scale rarely seen. And according to 2 economists, the size and scope of these interventions are proof the current turmoil could signal the beginning of a far-reaching systemic banking crisis. These 2 economists, Andrew Metrick of Yale University and Paul Schmelzing of Boston College, recently examined nearly 2,000 banking sector interventions in 138 countries going back to the 13th century. They determined barely 6% of all banking crises over the last 8 centuries have seen such a combination of depositor account guarantees and emergency lending interventions. Emergency lending by the Swiss National Bank to both Credit Suisse and UBS totaled more than 25% of Switzerland's GDP. And in the U.S., the wave of deposit guarantees made on behalf of recent bank failures represents the second highest total of such guarantees in U.S. history. The March 2023 pattern of interventions strongly suggests we are already in the midst of a systemic event. Schmelzing warned those who are inclined to believe the danger has passed that large-scale banking crises play out over many months, if not years. It's far too early for investors to say that the crisis is over. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers also stressed the importance of staying on high alert. When you have a series of earthquake tremors, it's a fairly long time before you should be in a position to be confident that you've seen the last of them. So is the banking crisis storm behind us? Even if it isn't, like any big storm, there's always wreckage left behind. And we have to wonder, what is the fragility of the financial system? These interventions were larger than anything we've seen since the financial crisis. What does it all mean? What are the risks? We should all be paying attention. That's why I suggest you take the time to learn more about what's really going on in the economy by attending our exclusive one-on-one web conference at AugustaPreciousMetals.com/webconference.